You know, most teams, when they win a game like they did yesterday, they are able to build on that. We call that momentum. It's a real thing that exists in all sports, whether people want to admit it or not. It's a big thing in football. It's a big thing in hockey. It's a big thing in everything, right? Not for the Yankees. It does not matter for the Yankees. I don't know if you've noticed that. Things that should matter don't for the New York Yankees. This is probably why they don't care that Stanton's their hottest hitter and they continue to keep him out of the lineup, despite the fact that, and I want you to hear me out when I say this, just found this out today. It's time for us to start really pressuring every unit on this team. The Yankees entered today with the sixth worst offense since the All-Star break. The sixth worst offense since the All-Star break. Really, I had the realization today watching this game. Yeah, it's all hope. It's all hope. It's all based on the easy schedule ahead. It's all based on the fact they get to play 25 games or whatever I said yesterday, 25, 28, whatever, just under 30 games against teams that don't have a chance in hell of making the playoffs. So you're basically banking on them to beat up on bad teams. But what does that mean for a team that was just in the World Series? What does that mean for their playoff hopes? What does that mean for their World Series hopes? See, if you just beat up on bad teams, which the Yankees, by the way, it's funny, we're sitting here thinking they're going to beat up on bad teams. When do they ever do that? Today was awful. I had way more fun last night watching the Rams preseason game, and none of the starters played. The game meant nothing. This is supposed to be entertainment, and the Yankees are not entertaining. The best parts about the Yankees are no longer good anymore. I mean, think about this. Max Fried was up there as a Cy Young candidate. And now in his last 7 games, he has a 6 ERA. And we continue to be led astray and basically told that we're fools for even questioning that, hey, that blister that he had, and he's a craft pitcher, and we talked about yesterday with the spin rate. Yeah, that blister might have actually done something to him to negatively impact his performance. But that's right. That's ridiculous. The Yankees don't think that. So why would you think that? They know more than everyone. No, the reality is this. Fried right now is cooked. What does Fried look like when he's cooked? Not like the worst pitcher in the league. He's good enough to still get through only giving up 4 or 5 runs. He's not going to give up 8. But the problem is the Yankees need an ace right now. They need starting pitching to go past the 5th inning. It's putting way too much stress on the bullpen. And in addition to that, they also have a horrendous offense. Horrendous. The offense, as I said, is the 6th worst. And that was coming into today. They're probably worse than that since the All-Star break. Scoring 12 runs against the Marlins in a game that they still found a way to lose. Well, guess what? Scoring 12 runs against the Marlins meant nothing. And it was just a cover-up. They are not a good offense. They don't have the quality hitting. They don't have timely hitting. They're all trying to hit home runs. It's ridiculous. Why is Jazz swinging for the fences? Why is Volpe swinging for the fences? You're down 4-0. I don't need you to hit a solo shot. I need you to get on base. There's really not much they can do. There's one thing that they can do that's not on the roster, and that's call up Spencer Jones and just see. Like I mentioned all year in 2022 when they called up Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera, it added some like fire to their roster. The only thing they can do in terms of personnel is call up Spencer Jones and hope that injects any sort of life into this team. Not saying it would, but that's the only different thing that they could do. After that, the next thing they could do is fire Aaron Boone. At this point, it doesn't matter if Boone is at fault or not, which I'm not saying he isn't at fault, but it is time. It's time. And, you know, I'm not going to say if they don't fire him, they can't turn it around. But we have seen many managers, many coaches in the past who just, hey, it's not working out, right? Joe Girardi, it wasn't working out with the Phillies. I don't know if you guys remember. Joe Girardi was struggling. They fired him, and Robbie Thompson, who Girardi brought over as the bench coach, now Robbie Thompson ends up being the manager. And the Phillies are really good now with Robbie Thompson. Sometimes you just got to do it. You got to do something. That's the thing. Doing nothing is insane. Doing nothing is insane. Right now, you are bleeding. What we're looking at with the Yankees, they have a stab wound the size of a mountain in their chest, and they're not doing anything to stop the bleeding. They're just like, hey, it is what it is. Just rub some dirt on it. It'll be okay. No, you have to do something. They're doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. We talked about what they did at the trade deadline. Love what they did at the trade deadline. But guess what? Now 3 of your trade deadline acquisitions out of 7 are injured. Okay? You can't just sit there and say, woe is me. Oh my God, you know, I did everything I could. It just didn't work out. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. The Yankees right now are cooked. They have to do something. We're talking Hail Mary here. They're tied now with the Guardians. The Guardians could take over that last wildcard spot. The Guardians. The same Guardians that were literally interested in trading away Stephen Kwan. That Guardians team. You can't just sit there and not do anything. It's just, that's the thing. And you know, if they had lost yesterday, I don't think I'm anywhere near as pissed as I am right now. The thing that pisses me off is that the Yankees, it's this idea that really nothing they do has any impact. We can't sit there and be like, oh my God, I'm so glad they had a great win. This is the thing that's going to... No, because then I look like an absolute fool like yesterday. Obviously, I told you, I didn't think that Trent Grisham was going to save the season on that swing, but I have to do something to get people to actually watch the video. That's just the way it is on YouTube. And obviously, there's no such thing as clickbait if you have a live show and you go longer than 45 minutes. But the point being is this. Right now, the Yankees don't have a choice. You have exercised all options. You either add a guy who is thriving in AAA, a guy that can hopefully inject something. And I'm not saying it's going to work, but you have to do something. You can't just sit here and just continue to run around and do the same things over and over and over again. And then the other thing is to fire Aaron Boone. And I don't think it's either or. Like, I would argue they both should happen. So much so right now, while I do this, I'm probably just going to change this thumbnail. I'm going to change the title and say it's time to fire Aaron Boone. Because it is. Like, it just is. It's time. You guys know I held out for a while. Dude, when it's like this, this doesn't get any better, okay? You can't just say, yeah, you know, we're thinking, you know, things are really, we're going to be turning the corner. No, what you're banking on, essentially, is that you're essentially banking on the fact that you're just going to take care of business against every bad team. Did you take care of business against the Colorado Rockies? No, that should have been a sweep. So there's nothing in your history, nothing has shown us at all that you can take care of business. You can't beat the teams you're supposed to beat, right? Nothing has shown us that. Zero. Absolutely zero. So why should I assume so? There we go. The title is now, it's time for the Yankees to fire Aaron Boone. Guys, I'm on your side again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it might have taken a bit for me to get there. I don't like calling for people's jobs. It has nothing to do. I don't even care if Boone is at fault or not. They need to do something. You have to spark something. Because here's the thing, it's probably not going to work, and they're probably, whatever. They might barely make the playoffs, and they won't make the playoffs. But the reality is you can't just sit there and just hope it gets better without actually trying to make it better. That's my biggest thing. I'm so tired of that, and teams do that all the time. There's also teams that are smart, and they realize, yeah, this isn't working. Let's try and do something to get it working. Right? Like, let's try and do something to get it working. Here's the reality. They fixed the bullpen to an extent. Obviously, Devin Williams has made it look bad. And then, of course, you had the 13-12 game against the Marlins. But for the most part, the middle, because that was the big thing, right? The middle innings in the bullpen actually looked good. Hedrick struck out 4 in 2 innings, didn't allow a run. Devin Williams looked like a low leverage demon. I know that's hilarious to say, but he struck out the side, to be fair. Maybe his role's the 6th inning, which, by the way, is valuable because your starting pitchers can't get past the 5th inning. They pitch 5 innings. That's it. They can't get into the 6th inning, right? There you go. So he might actually have a role because of how pathetic the pitching is right now. You're getting the same results from a Max Fried, from a Carlos Rodon, from a Louis. Well, I don't want to throw Louis Seal under the bus. He just got back and he looked good yesterday. But you're getting the same results from guys that were all-stars as you're getting, and actually better results you're getting from a Cam Schlittler. It might not be as sexy. He might not be striking out 10 or 9 or 8, but who gives a rip if he's literally going 5 1/3 just like Rodon? He's giving you the same length. So is Will Warren. Right now, this team doesn't have a whole lot going for them. And that's when really the glass shattered for me today, when I realized your ace has a 6 ERA in the last 7 games. Okay. It just took you this long to figure out your bullpen. And now it doesn't even matter because you're not even going to be in games to win them. You're going to be in games where you have to put out your closer, like you're one of the bottom feeder teams in the league, in the 9th inning to get him work because you don't have a chance of winning the game. Right? This team was being no hit by Jason Alexander, a guy that the Astros picked up off of waivers from the A's. Going into the 6th inning, Ben Rice broke it up. You know why? Because Ben Rice actually put together some good at-bats today and isn't trying to hit a home run every time he steps up to the plate. Again, coming off a great win yesterday and seeing that it meant absolutely nothing is the driving force for me as to why you move on from Boone, you bring up Spencer Jones, you try and fix this, because you can't have momentum not matter. Momentum has to matter. Good things happening have to lead to other good things. Like, this is repulsive. The fact that you could have a game like yesterday and those guys just are absolutely flat. That's insane. At home, too. Just absolutely pathetic. And look, let's be honest here. It's not like the Astros were losing this game, came back and gut punched the Yankees. No, this was a flat performance. These guys didn't even look like they wanted to be out there today. Altuve hits a home run and they've already thrown it in the towel. You knew this game was over. You were hoping it wasn't, but you knew the game was over. You knew it. They left 6 on base. Aaron Judge has no PS under 700 since returning. Love Aaron Judge, and I understand he's coming back from injury, but if you're going to have him in the DH spot, he needs to do something because now I don't have Stanton in the lineup. Boone flirted with playing him in right field. Well, guess what? You don't have a damn choice. Giancarlo Stanton should always be in the lineup, especially when you have the 6th worst offense since the All-Star break. Stanton is your best hitter right now. What are you doing? Even Bellinger's starting to struggle a bit. What are you doing? It's just it's unfair to it's unfair to the viewer. It's unreal. He's been off almost the entire week. What the hell is wrong with you? By the way, more injuries. Ahmed Rosario to the IL with a shoulder sprain because, of course, JC Escarra was called back up because they totally need 3 catchers. Definitely wasn't a good opportunity to call up Spencer Jones or anything, who, by the way, hit another home run today. He has 30 in the minor leagues, hitting over 300, 1,000 OPS, all that, all that good stuff. Boone got tossed. The one thing I'll defend Boone for, I like that he does stick up for his players with the umpire. But at the same time, Boone he says he missed 4 and Derek Thomas threw him out. We could also talk about the fact Derek Thomas is a terrible umpire. He literally has absolutely no calm, cool collectiveness whatsoever. He escalates everything. This is not his first occurrence. He did it with the Cubs. He's done it multiple times. He's a bad umpire. He's not good at what he does. And today he was absolutely horrific. He cost Max Fried, because I do want to give Max Fried the benefit of the doubt to an extent. Max Fried had strike 3, inning over, 2-0 is the lead. And then, of course, he doesn't get the strike 3 call because, again, you have Derek Thomas, who is just a terrible umpire, should be literally fined because of how bad he is. And he doesn't get the strike call. So, of course, then Max Fried, the next pitch, gives up a 2-run double. So, yes, I also wanted to hit on that. That's not why they lost. They lost because they're not a good baseball team. They're actually one of the worst baseball teams currently right now in the major leagues. And I know people have said it. They haven't been the same since Oswaldo Cabrera went down. Well, that's really not acceptable. Because as much as I like Oswaldo Cabrera, I like that he's homegrown. I like that he's a really nice dude and, obviously easy to root for. But he's a utility guy on this team right now if healthy. He's not starting over Ryan McMahon. And do you think him being there would have stopped them from getting Ryan McMahon? Absolutely not. So that's my thing. If that actually is the thing that really broke the straw that broke the camel's back was Oswaldo Cabrera, then you're as soft of a team as everybody perceives you to be, right? That's just the reality of it. Jason Dominguez playing left field continues to make 0 sense to me. I like Jason Dominguez. I don't understand why the hell he is in left field. I don't get it. I really don't understand why Jason Dominguez is in the toughest spot in Yankee Stadium when he is not a good fielder. And yes, he's gotten better. I see people in the comment section, he's improved. I'm not saying he hasn't. But when you improve from being absolute dog water to being still well below average, I'm sorry, that's still a problem, right? So he should be in right field, no question about it. The dimensions in left are just way too much for him. And that's, again, one of those things where like a good manager would know that, and Boone just simply doesn't get that. And the fact that like he'll never let Dominguez play right field, I also don't understand that either. So yeah, I just kind of tired of like the same things over and over again. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. Austin Wells is an auto out. Okay. I don't care who was on your bench. I would have pinch hit JC Escarra for him, to be honest with you. I like Austin Wells. He's going through a lot when it comes to the nerve damage in his hand. I know, we've talked about that. Guess what? He shouldn't be out there. He should probably be on the IL. And this is what we talk about, okay? They continue to tell us, oh, it's no big deal, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. But then we see production from Austin Wells go off a damn cliff. And then we also see production from Max Fried, the ace, who was just in the All-Star game, who was just up for the Cy Young. And they keep telling us, oh, it's no big deal, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. The blister, it's all good. And now we see the actual production value from that, and it's not good. So that's a big issue with the Yankees too, is that, they continue to tell you how these injuries that come out It's no big deal. And then all of a sudden we start to see production dips, and then they're just like, yeah, it's still no big deal. No, that's bullshit. It absolutely is a big deal. Max Fried's blister is clearly bothering him. It's making it harder for him to throw his curveball. I didn't say that. Okay, that's actually Jack Curry said that after the game. He said the spin rate's down. It's harder to throw the curveball. It's harder to throw the slider. Well, it makes sense when you have a blister on your finger, right? And in the whole point of you is how you're trying to get that spin rate and you're trying to throw the ball in a way that's crafty. Well, guess what? You can't have a blister on your finger. That becomes a problem, okay? And that is what Max Fried is going through, and he's trying to fight his way through it. And the Yankees think that they're doing him a favor, but guess what? They're not. It's stupid. It's awful. It's terrible management. He should have been on the IL immediately. He never should have come back until that blister was fully healed, and that's just that. And then also, Austin Wells should be on the IL. Simply put, if he's not 100%, well, he can catch. That's great, but he can't hit. So what do you have back there? What do you have back there? Austin Wells cannot hit right now. If he doesn't walk, he's either striking out or he's just going to hit a weak pop-up. His OPS is 679. Okay, his on base percentage just continues to go lower and lower and lower. It's at 267. Okay, so I'm sorry. I like Wells, and I think he'll be better next year. He's 26, right? He turned 26 in July. He'll be better next year. He needs to get that thing figured out with his hand, but he should not be out there. JC Escarra should be out there, right? Ben Rice should be the everyday catcher, but in times where Ben Rice can't go or you want to move him to first base, JC Escarra should be at catcher. Austin Wells is an auto out. He's hitting 167 in August, not acceptable. A 389 OPS, a 167 on base percentage. That doesn't even factor in today's game. He hit 203 with a 258 on base percentage in July. Okay, he hit 224 with a 274 on base percentage in June. He hasn't had a good year. He hasn't had 1 month this year besides March, first 3 games of the year. Besides March, in the first 3 games of the year, he hasn't had 1 month where the on base percentage was above 300. That is unacceptable. And they just continue to trot him out there like no big deal when we already know that he's actually banged up. He has an excuse. I just don't get it. They're doing stuff and you're like, look, I'm not saying that they have the greatest team I've ever seen, but they are built pretty well. The roster construction since the trade deadline was pretty solid. So what's going on here? There's the deployment is off. Also, guys that you need to do well are not doing well. It's that simple as well. Like Jazz Chisholm, for instance. Chisholm looked better today, but once again, why are you swinging for the fences? Jazz Chisholm in June looked like a rising superstar. 318, 378 on base, a 991 OPS. Then July hits, and we actually told him over and over again. We told everybody, we don't want Jazz Chisholm in the home run derby. It's going to mess up his swing. And sure enough, it messed up his swing. He's gone from hitting 252 right before the home run derby to now he's down to 237. His OPS at one point, right before the home run derby, was 872. It is now 786. I'm not making excuses for the home run derby. I'm saying Jazz Chisholm, since the All-Star break, regardless of the home run derby or not, is not the same player. He's not. He's not hitting. The 70% swing is gone. It's now 100% or nothing. Like, this is what I mean. I'm not even saying it's going to work. I'm not saying Spencer Jones comes out there and he's going to hit over 1,000 OPS. He's going to hit 350. I'm not saying that. But if you look at this roster right now, we keep saying he's blocked. Who is he blocked by? Who is Spencer Jones blocked by? Jason Dominguez, horrific outfield performance. Really? That's who he's blocked by? Jason Dominguez is hitting 190 this month. He has a 482 OPS. He has a 292 on base percentage. Who is blocking Spencer Jones? Who? Nobody on this roster is hitting right now except for the guy that doesn't even play every day because Boone refuses to play him in the outfield. He played him once, looked good. Nope, he flirted with it today. Wasn't going to do it. You know Cody Bellinger, as much as I love Bellinger, he's got a 167 batting average, a 242 on base, and a 409 OPS in the month of August. He's struggling. Trent Grisham is actually the only one that you could say right now in the outfield that is actually having a really good month. And I understand it's a small sample size, but it matters. Trent Grisham is hitting 250, no big deal, 364 on base, and a 935 OPS in the month of August. You can't tell me Spencer Jones is blocked. Who is he blocked by? Not only is Spencer Jones, I mean, he's raking in AAA, he's a great glove. And you can't tell me, well, Dominguez is also, he's going to help you, you know, the base running aspect of it. So is Spencer Jones. He's probably going to be a 30-30 guy, the way it looks. That right there, Christian. He's not blocked by anybody. He's just blocked by incompetence. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's not good right now, guys. It's just not. It's not really acceptable. Trent Grisham right now is probably their best hitter with Stanton. Stanton, by the way, love this. He's hitting 278 in the month of August, a 435 on base, and an over 1,000 OPS. And Boone does not play him every day. That is fireable alone. When I say, I'm not just saying things to say them. Giancarlo Stanton, his season, it's not even just what he's doing lately, which would have you to believe, yes, he's the best hitter on this team. But Giancarlo Stanton has a 275 batting average, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs, and is hitting 885 in the OPS category. 885 in 40 games? Really? And that guy doesn't play every day? Are we serious? Aaron Judge is struggling. I already told you his OPS is below 700 since he came back. It's like Anthony Volpe got off to that hot start. Now he's starting to struggle a bit as of late. He's still, you know, he gets you about a hit a game, but he's still not having a bad August. I mean, the on-base percentage needs to be higher than 290. Really what he is, hitting 267 and 790 OPS, is he's kind of also a home run or strikeout guy. He's not really getting on base. He's not walking. Volpe's walked once in August, and he walked twice in all of July. So he doesn't really walk. So, you know, and then Ryan McMahon, who, yes, you know, we're glad, okay, he got off to a good start with the Yankees, and yeah, Ryan McMahon is hitting 136 in the month of August, and he has a 345 on base. So what's not talked about nearly enough, is that the offense sucks. You know why it's not talked about? Well, I'll tell you why it's not talked about. It's not talked about because the Yankees lead all of baseball by 10 home runs. The next team is the Dodgers. They lead all of baseball in home runs with 183. All of baseball. So there you go. It's this blanket thing that you could just say, well, you know, they're third in runs scored this year. Who cares? Who gives a rip? The Yankees are third behind only the Cubs and Dodgers in runs scored. Who cares? It's not amounting to anything. Team batting average is now down into its 14th. On base percentage is actually at 4th, believe it or not. Slugging is first. OPS is first. Total bases is actually second. Walks, they're first in walks. Like, they're 22nd in strikeouts. They're not striking out a ton, right? But guess what? We don't care because they're not winning games. What about the pitching? They had 2 all-star pitchers. They had a guy that was up for the Cy Young to start the year. They're 12th in wins. The ERA is now at 4.03 pitching-wise, 17th in the league. They have the tied for 10th in saves. I mean, this is a team that has given up the 5th fewest hits and magically the 17th. They're 17th in runs given up. They're 13th in runs given up, right? Home runs, they're middle of the pack. And guess what? They give up the 5th most walks. They're 5th in strikeouts for pitchers. Opponent on base percent, opponent batting average, they're 4th. And then whip, they're middle of the pack. So this is interesting. So it really looks like the Yankees should be a good team, right? They should probably be winning their division. A lot of different things they're in the top 10 in. Well, hey, guess what? Guess what? They're not. They're not a top 5 team. They're a team that has a lot of talent and they're not managed correctly. And unfortunately, and I'm not going to give these grown men a pass either, these guys are playing horrific in August. Horrific. The best hitters right now in August, Grisham, Stanton, everybody else is struggling. Really struggling. Stanton's got an OPS over 1,000. Grisham's got an OPS over 900. Ben Rice is probably next, and he's hitting 238 with a 594 OPS. I mean, he's not crushing it either. So, again, why the holdup with Spencer Jones? Why? Can't get any worse. Can't get any worse, right? See, if I were to compare Aaron Boone and the Yankees and their approach to, like, obviously my bread and butter. I mean, I think I know baseball pretty well, but mainly the Yankees. I don't really follow the MLB like I follow the NFL. They are that NFL coach that we've seen a million times that will punt every 4th down without question, not go for it. They'll play conservative 3rd and 15. They're not trying to actually, complete the first down pass. They're going to run a halfback delay handoff, get 4 yards out of it and punt. They're going to be the team that isn't trying to go for the jugular. They're just going to manage it. They're just going to play not to lose, which, as we know, when you play not to lose, it ultimately leads you to losing. That is what the Yankees are. It is really, really frustrating. Let's get into some super chats, though. Yuri, appreciate you. Thank you for the 2. This team looks defeated. Shake my head. They do. They absolutely look defeated. No question about it. And again, it's exactly what I said. If everything, okay, after everything yesterday, Trent Grisham's home run, that did not move them 1 millimeter. Are we kidding ourselves? How does that not get you excited to play baseball tomorrow? How does that not get you excited? You can't just keep telling me, yeah, we're really close, we're really close, we're really close. No, you're not. There's actually nothing out there that would depict the Yankees as being really close to anything. They're really close to not being like a contender at all. They're really close to being out of the playoff race. So they had this lead, these padded stats and this lead from earlier in the year. And that is the only reason they're still in the picture. They have been one of the worst baseball teams you'll ever watch for now the majority of the year. But they got off to such a good start that it doesn't matter. But guess what? It's starting to matter because they're that bad. Yuri, I can't agree more. They were dead today. Absolutely dead. When Altuve hit the home run, it was like, okay, we just lost. And I'll say this. I mean, no disrespect. Jason Alexander is an MLB pitcher. He deserves his credit and all. But we all watched the same game, right? Jason Alexander wasn't doing anything we haven't seen. It wasn't like he was throwing state-of-the-art. He wasn't throwing a state-of-the-art game. He actually threw a lot of meatballs that the Yankees just missed. Like, that's the thing. Like, Jason Alexander isn't like an all-world pitcher. He doesn't have like a huge repertoire or anything like that, and they looked overpowered. He also got a lot of terrible calls. I see that, Nick, in the comment section. Totally agree. The umpire was absolutely atrocious, but I don't want to make it about the umpire because I really want to hold on the point that the Yankees weren't good enough to win today. They just weren't. They weren't good enough. And honestly, again, the biggest frustrating thing for me is coming off that win yesterday. It showed you that they literally do not care. There's not a momentum here that you can actually change your sports talk accordingly, because the way it works is, I remember years ago, it was like the Twins won like 26 of their last 30 games. That was momentum, right? And as somebody that covers the Rams, they get off to bad starts the last 2 years. They go to the playoffs in both years. They won 7 of their last 8 games in 2023. Then last year they start off 1-4. They go 10-7. There you go. Momentum, right? We see it all the time. Momentum in every aspect. But guess what? It does not apply to the Yankees. Doesn't apply. I've watched hockey games where a team was up by 5 and they lose. Because guess what? Momentum is real. It just doesn't apply to the Yankees. Momentum doesn't exist with the Yankees. Not this year anyway. It has before. Like, momentum does not exist with this team. It's so frustrating because we have been told otherwise. We have learned over the course of our sports loving lives, momentum is real. It's palpable. It affects games. It changes the course of games. The Yankees, it doesn't work this way. The 2025 Yankees do not build on momentum. It's not a thing. If they did, it was earlier in the year. They don't do it anymore. Just good God, man. Apex, thank you for the 2. Is Boone's fate sealed? The season is over. I don't think they bring him back. I don't know if they fire him mid-season. Well, it's not even mid-season anymore, but I don't think they bring him back. I do think his fate is sealed. I don't think he's coming back. You know, I didn't mention it yesterday. I wanted to, totally forgot. Guys, look at the way the old timers were talking about him. And not just about him, but like, the team. I don't think I've ever seen that much disappointment from the legends of the Yankees. They're talking to all the old timers, and it was all like, yeah, it's now or never. There just wasn't any confidence. I'm telling you, Posada, you could see it. We've talked about Posada on this show about why he would be a good manager. I mean, there's no fire at all. If you don't think that had anything to do with what ends up happening, I don't know what to tell you. Those guys have a voice. They do. They're closer than we are. They have more of a voice than the audience. The former players, if they get loud enough, oh, Boone's gone. I already think Boone's gone. And, you know, there have been parts of this season where I have defended him because I'm like, what do you want him to do? Well, Cashman went out, he got you a bullpen, and you're still losing games. It's just not acceptable. Richmond, thank you so much for the super chat here. Why do they feel the need to change the lineup every game? No consistency. What are your thoughts, Jake? Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's at this point, it's just way overplayed. And I mean, really, are we surprised? I think it perfectly encapsulates what the Yankees are. They're a team that has no consistency. The starters can look great. The starters can look bad. The bullpen can look great one day, look terrible the next. The hitters can look great in June, can suck in July and August. I mean, it's really just, there's no consistency whatsoever. There's none. Absolutely none. And it's frustrating. If I knew I was consistently getting a team that could win, like the problem is they're good enough talent-wise to be in every game, but they're not good enough talent-wise to win games that like they don't deserve to win. When do the Yankees steal games from other teams? They don't really. They might steal it back, a game that they blew, but they don't steal games from other teams. Look at the Marlins. They were stealing games from other teams, right? The Astros do this. The Red Sox are notorious for this. The Yankees don't do it. The Yankees win games that they are supposed to win, and they don't even do that well. So they're definitely not stealing games that they don't deserve to win. That does not happen. And again, we went from not that long ago, it was a starter was on the mound for 7 innings to now starter can't last past the 5th inning. It's brutal. It really is. Appreciate the super, Richmond. John, thank you for the 5. If Stanton was good enough to play right field the last 3 innings, why couldn't he play the whole game? Fire Boone, fire Cashman, call up Spencer Jones. I agree, John. I agree entirely with everything you just said. That's the kicker right there. So you're telling me that you didn't want Stanton to play today in the field, and you couldn't sit Judge because he's Aaron Judge, although Aaron Judge has not been Aaron Judge since he's come back. But be that as it may, you sit Stanton, and then he pinch hits for Jason Dominguez, and you put him in right field, and you don't pinch run for him. Meaning, to your point, it wasn't just a pinch hit scenario. He had to play in the outfield for 3 innings. You know, they wouldn't even let him do that in the yesterday. He was out of the game. And guess what? I was okay with it. I was. Defensively, I get it. Late in games, but why was he in there today? And don't tell me the 7-1, effect. No. This is before they made this adjustment. They made this decision beforehand. Now, to be fair, Boone was already kicked out of the game. So this was Ausmus. So maybe it's Ausmus who's actually, maybe he sees it better. I don't know. I don't know how it works. When Boone gets kicked out of the game, I don't know if he has any communication. I don't think so, but who knows, right? But John, I agree with you that Stanton was good enough to play the last 3 innings, but couldn't play the whole game. Yeah, I don't understand it, and totally agree with that last thing. Call up Spencer Jones, for the love of God. John is back at it. Appreciate you with the 2. Posada basically called the team soft and gutless. Yeah, and he has every right to do that. You know who can talk? I mean, anybody can talk. It's freedom of speech, right? But the people that can talk and you're going to listen to them regardless, it's going to be the Posadas of the world, the guys that have actually accomplished. Derek Jeter. See, if you're just loud and you've never won anything, you're just a loud dude yelling, and people can listen to you if they want, or they can not listen to you if they want. But when you're a Derek Jeter, you're a Jorge Posada, you're a Bernie Williams, you're an Andy Pettitte, you're somebody that actually has won something. Well, guess what? Very simply put, you have a right to say what you will, and now you have more of a validated voice. You come from something. There's a reason for it. So, yeah, I I agree with what Posada said. The team is soft. They're absolutely soft. No team that isn't soft, okay, sits there and doesn't do anything following a momentum boosting win. I mean, don't you feel like a damn fool how many times this team like will hit a walk-off home run or do something crazy like what we saw yesterday with Grisham? How many instances this year have they done something like that and be like, that's the one that's going to get them on the high side, and then boom, the next game they're flat. They look dead. What we're really seeing is, if you look at the first game should have killed them, right? Losing the way they did, Devin Williams giving up the game. They fought back, took the lead, lost the game to the Astros late, right? Extra innings. But no, they get up, they get ready to play baseball, and they end up winning at the end. Obviously, it shouldn't have been as close, but they win at the end. You know, go ahead home run in the 8th inning by Trent Grisham, right? So then you would say the demoralizing loss would lead to another demoralizing loss or just flat. But no, they come out flat after a huge win. I like, they are mind-blowing, man. It doesn't make any sense. You just chalk it up to the fact that they told you. They told you. Gary and I have talked about it many times. You just chalk it up to the fact that, look, the Yankees don't believe in hot streaks. That's why Stanton hasn't been in there. They believe in their plan. They're not going to stray away from their plan because of a hot streak. They don't believe in them. The Yankees quite literally look at every day as it's different. That's the problem. It's a good problem to have when you're losing games. It's a really bad problem to have when you need a momentum boost. You get that said momentum boost, and then you don't build on it at all, because tomorrow is just a completely different day than yesterday. I hate it. Hate it so much. I hate that the Yankees literally don't acknowledge momentum. It really bothers me. Yankees for the win. Appreciate the super. It has been time for years to shake Boone's hand, thank him for his service, and let's move on. I wish the Steelers would do the same thing with Tomlin. Oh man, you don't like Tomlin, huh? Yeah, I get that a lot. But look, I totally agree. It took me a bit to get here. I don't like calling for guys' jobs, but look, it's time to fire Aaron Boone. It just is. This is just absolutely unacceptable. And again, I understand he got thrown out of the game, so he wasn't there to manage it. And I've always defended, managers for, sticking up for players. And, you do something like that, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes the umpire changes the strike zone a little bit, takes your criticism, will throw you out of the game, but actually takes your criticism and is now actually thinking about it. It didn't help today. It did take you out of the game. Osmus was fine. I mean, whatever. But yeah, I'm over it, man. I'm over it. The Yankees just continue to lose games. It's not fun. They're not a fun watch. This is supposed to be entertainment. They're far from entertaining. They're only 6 games above 500. That puts them, right now, they're what? They're 3 games back from Boston. And it doesn't feel that far, but it does feel that far when you think about how bad the Yankees truly are. Because the Yankees are just riding off the momentum, and just kidding, because they don't actually ride off any momentum. They're just riding off the padded performances of earlier in the year when they won 8 straight series. That's the thing. Like, that's why people think their offense is good, because, and it tricked me as well. When I looked through the splits, their offense isn't good. There's actually nobody hitting well except for a guy that's not in the lineup every day, and Giancarlo Stanton and Trent Grisham. So it's not great, guys. And it's really a sign that there could be an avalanche, like a legitimate avalanche destroying this team. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think it's all going to come apart at the seams, and we're going to see it. Michael John Sullivan, appreciate the super. Until Cashman is gone, nothing will change. I mean, I don't like Cashman at all, but I feel, again, and I've said this, I think Cashman passed the baton correctly to Aaron Boone. He got them the bullpen he needed. The team is not a bad team. It's well constructed, in my opinion, now that the bullpen's fixed. And I just don't think Aaron Boone is getting enough out of them. For whatever reason, they're all in a slump at the same time. I do not like watching this team. It's frustrating. It was a lot of fun earlier in the year. I look forward to chatting with you guys. I look forward to doing this as a job, but watching this team is not entertaining. It feels like a waste of time. And so obviously it's not going to stop watching them, but it is frustrating that they are so frustrating and they're so inconsistent and they don't care about momentum at all. That's what I would say. But I appreciate you, Michael. I don't think Cashman's great. I would move on from Cashman as well if I was in charge, but based on right now, I don't think Cashman is the guy I would be working to fire. I think Boone is the guy that needs to go. Craig M, thank you for the 2. Their only consistency is inconsistency. Yeah, it's true. They're consistently inconsistent. I mean, wow. It's true. They are. It's 100%. But yeah, consistently inconsistent. Jose Gutierrez, thank you for the 10. We really appreciate you. Ninja Hot Dog, love the dog. Thank you for the 2. Will we even finish above 500 at this point? I think they will, just because that's hard to not do against the teams that they're going up against. But, man, I'll tell you, this idea that they're just going to waltz into Chicago, and keep in mind, they lost to Chicago last year, and Gary was wearing a bag over his head, okay? That was a real thing. So this idea that they're going to waltz into that Chicago series and they're just going to beat up on the White Sox like they're supposed to is kind of ridiculous, because the Yankees are one of the worst teams in the league. They just are. It's really disheartening. You hope they can turn it around. Obviously, I want to be able to talk about postseason baseball with you guys. We had a lot of fun last year. I mean, Gary and I, we ended up our first year being able to cover a World Series, which, was obviously a great thing. And, we found a lot of you guys through that. When we decided to start going live, people really started to show up. YouTube started to actually help us and push us a little bit on the algorithm. They still do not push us nearly enough. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. But I'll be honest, it's been freaking awesome being able to talk with you guys, throughout this year, throughout last year. And we just continue to grow, and I think that's the beauty of it, is that right now, the Yankees are frustrating, but we feel like we're building something special here, and it's going to last a long time. And you guys are here every single time after the game. If we go live 3-4 hours after the game, you guys are here. So it's awesome. I mean, we're almost at 9,500 subscribers. And guys, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because once we get to 10,000, we are going to give away a Yankee jersey of your choice. So we're really excited to do that. And that is coming up soon. And also, I'm just going to drop in the comments section. I'm just going to drop the Discord link. If you guys want to join the Discord, it's free. It's a Yankees, Yankees Unloaded community. Currently, we have how many? We have 178 in our Discord. So 178 and counting. I know some people will join after that. And then, of course, we have to bring up the member spot. If you want to become a member, support the channel further, the membership is in the chat as well. It's also pinned, but yeah, I'm excited to have Gary back because I love doing the show with him. Solo shows can be fun, and obviously Gary kicks ass doing it, and I think I'm pretty good doing it. I've been doing them for a long time, not Yankees, but Rams. So I have a lot of experience with solo shows. I have a lot of experience interacting with the audience, but yeah, I love our show because I feel like Gary and I have this kind of understanding where we're both on the same page all the time, and we might disagree on some things, and that's the beauty of it. But I feel like we're always on the same page. We always have that goal in mind. We want to, every show, we want to be better than the next one. And yeah, we love interacting with you guys. So, will we even finish above 500 at this point? That remains to be seen. I believe they do. But I really do think, guys, it's time. They have to fire Aaron Boone. It took me a while to get to this point, but I just don't see any other way. They got to do something. And I think they got to do two things. I think they got to fire Aaron Boone. They got to call up Spencer Jones, and they got to start playing Spencer Jones. You're running out of time. You are running out of time. How many games is left? What? 42, 44? It's 44 games. You're running out of time, guys. 44 games. And we'll still continue to hear in the pressers, oh, yeah, but we really feel like we're turning it around. We think we really have a chance of being a good team. You know what? I like that feeling when it's 90 games left in the season or 100 games left in the season. You've gotten off to a tough start. And you feel like, you know what? It just hasn't gone our way. We'll get it fixed. All that. All of that, right? But after a while, it's no different than the employee who goes to work every day 5, 10, 15 minutes late, and the boss says, I really like you. I love your performance, but you're always late. Can you please turn around? And, the employee always goes, yeah, no, it's totally fine. I'll change my routine. I'll do this. I have to be better. If you constantly say you have to be better, but you don't get better, guess what? Now your boss is not going to have any sort of confidence in you. And in a way, the audience, we're the boss. And guess what? We're constantly hearing, oh, yeah, we need to improve. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do this. We need to do that. Well, guess what? The audience doesn't care anymore. It's not that they think you're full of shit. They know that you're trying, or at least they hope you're trying. It's about results. That's the thing. The Yankees are a far cry from what they used to be. The Yankees used to be about championships. The way this team is playing, people are literally going to start adjusting their expectations. They're not going to say World Series or bust. They're going to start to be like, yeah, they should, I hope they go to the ALCS. This is the New York Yankees with a $300 million payroll. Obviously, this doesn't just fall on Boone or Cashman. This falls on Hal. And I've said it a million times, so I'm not going to just continue to say Hal needs to sell the team, because Hal does need to sell the team. But this is pathetic, and his father has to be absolutely distraught. George has to be so furious right now. Honestly, it's pathetic. It's just pathetic. And to be fair, like, what do you say? Aaron Judge gets, he gets the question asked. What does Aaron Judge say? I'm aware of that. Like, what are these guys supposed to say at this point? It's not going to get better. We're screwed. I hate everything. No, they're going to, Gary Phillips just tweeted out, Aaron Judge said the Yankees need to play better baseball. What gives them faith they will? And he said, quote, we've got a great team in this room, a lot of great players, guys that have their backs up against the wall before and in tough situations. Just like every year you play here, you're going to have your back up against the wall. So guys have been there and done that. We just got to step up and do it on the field. We can sit here and talk about it. You can ask me how everything is going, but it's about what we do on the field. Yeah, I don't hold it against Judge, because what is Judge supposed to say? Also, what is Gary supposed to ask? See, this is the tough, the conundrum here, because you can't get mad at, the reporters for having to ask these questions, because they literally have to ask these questions to do their job and write their articles and all of that. But at the same time, Judge has to answer it, and he has to also pretty much be really repetitive. But the problem is, this is why, I don't care about the postgame stuff. I don't. I like that the broadcast was calling out the play today. I really do. Michael Kay is sick of watching this. He's sick of reporting on it. He's sick of broadcasting it. I don't blame him. This is pathetic baseball. Absolutely pathetic. 7-1. Are you freaking kidding me? Awful. Jose Gutierrez, thank you for becoming a new member at Yankees Unloaded. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Cedric, thank you for the 5. The team does not have a winner's mentality, no sense of urgency. I can contribute that to the culture Boone has created. It's actually kind of funny you mentioned this. This is, and I'm so glad you mentioned this. This actually is more Boone's fault than I think I give credit to. And here's why. So yesterday, and yes, it is going to be a Rams comparison here, I'm watching the Rams and Cowboys preseason game. And I immediately get the vibe. I'm like, this culture is just different. They just are. The Rams preseason team comes out. Mind you, they don't play any of their starters. They don't even play their key backups, right? Rams come out. Defense is violent. Offense is calculated. You got guys like Stetson Bennett throwing the ball over the yard. They're running all over the Cowboys. They're throwing all over the Cowboys. The guys on the sidelines, the starters who are sitting, they're going crazy. They're so hyped for these guys that might not even make the team. You see the coaches that are smiling ear to ear like it's the damn Super Bowl. And in a way, that sounds a little silly, right? Why is Sean McVay, who's won a Super Bowl before, smiling ear to ear on the sidelines during a preseason game? And then you think, oh, this is a direct reflection of their culture. That's what it is. This team plays every game, preseason or regular season, prepares the same way as if it is a playoff game. And that is a culture. And I've talked to players, I know players, I'm friends with players on the Rams. And they always tell me that culture, Sean McVay, different animal. You want to play for him. And there are players like that, and there are coaches like that, there are organizations like that throughout sports. Right? You see it all the time. There are good cultures out there. The Dodgers are a winning culture. Why else do you think they're able to get guys to come over and play for them? You have to build something. If you build it, they will come. That is the term, okay? If you build it, they will come. We built Yankees Unloaded. You guys showed up. If you build a foundation for your organization, people will show up. That's the problem. You hit it, Cedric. This team doesn't have a winner's mentality. There's no sense of urgency. I saw more of a sense of urgency from the preseason roster last night and other preseason NFL rosters around. There was more of a sense of urgency in a meaningless exhibition game than we saw from the Yankees against a team that has been one of their rivals over the last decade in a regular season game. You're absolutely right. That's the culture. The culture is, yeah, enjoy your win, and then we move on tomorrow, and it's a completely different thing. We don't pile wins together. There's no such thing as a winning streak. Hot streaks don't exist. Momentum doesn't exist. And it's actually a really good point Drew just brought up. See, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? The NFL can cut anyone. That's why. Oh, Lord, I've seen it. That's it, right? I touched on this last year, and the Yankees ended up going to the World Series. But the point still remained. There's a comfortability where these guys know they're not going to lose their job. They're not going to get benched. They're not going to lose their job. They're not going to get cut. They're not going to get traded. You see the jogging to first base, right? Think about it. Like zero accountability whatsoever. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Why would I, right? Why would I have to worry about that? Because I know they're not going to do anything. And you would be right. They're not going to do anything. Not at all. So that's the thing, is that like, if you know nothing is going to come of it, if you know you're not going to have any bad, you know, you're not going to have any backlash, then yeah, why would you care? Nothing comes of it. Oh yeah, I won't be punished for that. There's no discipline, right? That's just it. There's no discipline. None. No accountability. See, in the NFL, and to Drew's point, you can actually get cut even as a team, even if you're a fan favorite, even if you're marketable, even if you're productive, you can get cut in the NFL. You can lose your job. You get banged up, you could lose your job. So, I mean, that's the reality. So, yeah, it is frustrating. But I totally agree with you. Army Joe, thank you for the super. If Cash were Hono, he would step down knowing Hal won't do it. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Honorable, okay. Well, I'll tell you this. If Brian Cashman steps down and actually he's not a GM anymore, but he ends up being like a president of baseball operations type thing, I won't be surprised if that ends up happening. I won't. Not that it's a huge deal. He'd still be in the building and probably have a pretty big finger on the trigger, but Ed W, thank you for the super. I disagree. Jeez. These things are so big. My God. I disagree with your view. Frazier's right. Team is not constructed for players to excel. Boxing them in and playing them out of position and no meaningful coaching. Boone is executing a systemic plan from Cash. Management needs gut. Yeah, look, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily think we disagree. I don't think we disagree. I have issues with this team. I think this team should be a lot better than they are. I don't think they're the best team in the league, but I think this team should be a lot better than they are. I think it's gotten to the point where I don't care if Boone is executing a plan or not. He needs to go just to go. Like they need to start doing things to change because this isn't going to work. Now we know that this isn't going to work. They're not just magically turning it around. It's exactly what I was saying. If they turn it around, they took care of business against bad teams. That's basically all people are holding out hope for. This Twin series, the series against the Orioles multiple times and the White Sox and the Nationals, St. Louis, that's where the Yankees are at right now. We're just holding out hope that they can win enough against those guys. That's it. If they can win enough against those teams, they can sneak in. But if they sneak in, are they dangerous? Man, I'll be honest. I'm starting to see it. The Yankees are that team that goes 19 and 14 in college hoops. And every year there's one of those teams that had all the talent in the world, right? They tell us, oh, they had a bunch of 5 stars. They got the best rim protector in the country, but he's been banged up. They've had a lot of different, yes, the team that has all those variables that will get you to pick them to have a huge upset or whatever in the tournament, and they always lose. Always. There's always at least one team that has all those variables and you're like, wow, this could be a Cinderella story, and they always lose. And it's a team that is a big name and they just didn't have a good year. And you know how I know that? Because that right there is how I know that. The Kansas Jayhawks. I'm a diehard Kansas Jayhawk fan. It pains me to say it, but that is what Kansas has done multiple years. Oh, well, this guy's coming back and they haven't quite gotten going and they got off to a great start at the beginning of the year. That sounds like Kansas last year. Rutgers basketball with two top 5 picks last year. Exactly. Thank you, Alex. There you go. That's what the Yankees are. They're not winning a World Series. This isn't a miracle run or anything. They are going to find a way to get into the dance, like March Madness, and they're going to lose. They're probably going to lose in the first round. Seattle, Boston. It's probably what's going to happen. But the more I think about it, the more I realize they are just that college hoops team that had all the potential going into the season, was, top 5 projected, and had a good looking roster. Injuries happen for one reason or another. They just didn't end up showing the type of roster that they could be. Again, the Kansas Jayhawks right there. I know from experience, because they've won titles before, but they've also had seasons where they should have won a title and they didn't. But they've also had seasons where they came into the season, like last year. A lot of people don't even know this. The Kansas Jayhawks basketball team, I don't even remember who they lost to, nor do I care at this point. I forgot who they got upset by. It was Arkansas again. They lost to Arkansas twice. Awesome. But no, that's not my thing. My thing is this. Kansas was the number 1 team in the country going into the season. Number 1. What did that mean? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They got off to a good start, and then they fell off a cliff. And actually, you know what was a really good sign? You know what was really good at telling us ahead of time? It was a good forecast for the future, a barometer, if you will. Do you know what that was? I'll tell you. Kansas wasn't good in the Big 12. What's the Big 12? Well, it's their conference, but call it a division. You know what the Yankees are? Bad in their division. They have a bad AL East record. The forecast is all there, y'all. It's all there. We're learning. It's been there. It's been right in our face. The Yankees aren't that good. That's the thing. That's the point. You have to be new here, because Gary and I always go on our tangent analogies. So we're not just talking about basketball. The point being is it brings my point to the forefront. The Yankees are a bad AL East team, just like Kansas was a bad Big 12 team. If you're not good against your division, you're probably not a good baseball team. The Yankees are 14-19 against the AL East. 14-19. There you go. That is why we bring up our analogies. We like painting a picture. We like making it more crystal clear. Not everybody is incredibly well versed in baseball, and so we like to make it more simplified. That's true, but that's not what they did last year, so that's neither here nor there. But yes, you're right. So again, point being, the Yankees are they're not that good of a baseball team. They fooled us. Well, maybe they didn't fool you. They definitely fooled me, but that was what I realized today. They're just not that good. They're not. 14-19 against the East. 20-22 in interleague play. I mean, come on, guys. It was staring us right in the face. The only way that they can turn this around is, like I said, it comes down to Boone. It comes down to Spencer Jones. That's it. You got to do something catastrophic. You got to do something chaotic. You got to do something that's big. You got to show that you want to change this. Because if you don't, you're the same team you've been all year. Same team. Uptown Sports TV, appreciate you. Working Media, Old Timers Day, the Latino journalist, Slow asking Posada about managing in MLB, and he said it is something he thinks about. Well, I like to hear that, because I would take Posada, I would take Mattingly, I would take Girardi, I would take Showalter. I would take a lot of managers over Boone right now. I would. Uptown Sports TV also became a YouTube member, so we appreciate you big time. And Ed W, I'm also confused why anyone who predicted a high 80 win season is enraged. This is what 87 wins looks like. Rage should be that it's an 87 win team. I had 92 wins. I had 94 last year. I had 92 this year, but I did also have the caveat that I thought this team was better constructed than last year. And sure enough, their bullpen at the beginning of the year, right? The bullpen at the beginning of the year looked really good. Then they had injuries and didn't look so good. But why did the starters start to fall off? Why did the offense start to fall off? Like, why? And it just tells me that you've been keeping this thing together for a while. And now it's finally run its course. And it is time to move on and have a new face. Whether Boone is fully at fault or not, I don't care. It's time for a new face. It's time to give the fans something different. It's time to give the players something different. You know, that's the thing. It is time to give the players something different. I feel like a year or two from now, we'll see an interview where the Yankees either win the World Series or they're with a new manager or whatever, and all of a sudden you start to hear from this player, yeah, you know, it's definitely a different feeling. You know, he holds us to a different standard. I kind of feel like that's what we're going to see. Not really directed at Boone, like for being a bad manager, but it's not about what Boone didn't do. It's about what's done. So if they get a guy that actually does have some authority, there you go. But I do believe Boone gets let go after the season. I don't know if they do an in-season firing, but I do think he gets let go. Agree on Jones. Don't understand the Ascar ad. Appreciate the two. My hope for the Ascar ad is they finally they shut down Wells, because Wells is just not 100%. And why trot him out there when he's hitting as poorly as he's hitting if he's not 100%? Let Ascara be the backup catcher and move on. That's my take. But maybe it's not that at all. I have no idea. But yeah, this last point is exactly how I want to end it. Exactly. It's way beyond if it's Boone's fault or not. He's the manager. The team needs a shakeup. He has to go. It's exactly that. We need a new face. It's really that simple. It's gotten to that point. So that's all I got for you guys. A little bit longer than yesterday. We are able to talk more about losses than we are about wins, I feel like. And also the super chats were flowing. So, we got another one. Ninja Hot Dog, thank you for the 5. If we get a tough manager, expect a lot of backlash from players. They're used to being babied. Players will likely talk down on them. I would not say that, I would not necessarily say that, okay? And the reason why, and I get what you're saying, but I've actually found in the past, and I hate to relate this to the Rams, but Jeff Fisher, right? Jeff Fisher, who I kind of see similarities to Boone, and that's not necessarily a good thing, also lost in a championship. When they fired Jeff Fisher, he was a player's coach. The next year, the players that were still there from the Jeff Fisher era, it wasn't like they were trying to throw Jeff Fisher under the bus, but they kept talking about how good Sean McVay was and how he's changed the culture and how different he is in a good way. And this is what I would say, and it's very simple. If you fire Aaron Boone and you bring in somebody that's an absolute can't miss perfect hire, no one is going to care. They are going to fall in line. The guys that don't will be moved on from. It's really that simple. It'll work out. I am never going to be afraid, right? Never going to be afraid of, somebody like that. I'm never going to be afraid. If you can hire a really good manager, I'm not afraid of what the backlash will be, because he's not going to let shit fly that maybe Aaron Boone did. Why do we have an imposter Ninja Hot Dog telling me to stop talking about football or they're leaving? Why do we have an imposter Ninja Hot Dog? The hell's going on? Anyway, I'm always going to give analogies, never going to change the way I do things. It's worked out pretty well, I would say. Works out for Gary, too. Analogies are, you do have an imposter. Analogies are the backbone of this show. If you don't like it, then I guess it's not a good show for you. It's that simple. We don't stay on it the whole time, but yeah. Anyway, appreciate you guys. I'm so excited to have Gary back. It is so much better doing a show with him. But anyway, really appreciate you guys. You know, I would say tomorrow they got the Twins. We can look at the game real quick. Twins are not a good baseball team. I've made way too many trade deadline jokes. It's Will Warren on the hill at Yankee Stadium, so we like that. Will Warren, I think, is going to come through for the Yankees tomorrow against Zebby Matthews. Never heard of this dude in my life. He misses bats. He gives up hits. He walks batters. And he's given up 4 home runs in 38 and a third innings pitched. He has a 5.17 ERA and a 1.38 WHIP. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, but man, I'm not ready for the Yankees to get no hit by Zebby Matthews. I'm sorry. I'm just not. So, yeah, and apparently there's a Fire Boone night on August 12th. So, yeah, the more you know. I'm not going to predict anything. The Yankees have not done enough for me to predict them to win. I will say the ESPN matchup predictor has the Yankees a 64.3% chance of winning this said game. They are favorites tomorrow because the Twins are that bad, but the Twins did just win 4 of their last 5. The Yankees, of course, are not very good. So we'll see. The Twins are 11 games out of first place. The Yankees are 6. Yankees have a lot more to play for. We'll see how it goes down. But again, we appreciate you guys. It's been awesome. Gary will be back tomorrow. I don't know what time we'll go live. I would imagine probably the usual after the game, 20, 30 minutes after the game. But before you head on out of here, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. I'm trying to do it over the super chat here. But be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Really would appreciate it, guys. You know, we had I think we got over 900 people in here at one point. So yeah, be sure to hit the like button, thumbs up button, whatever you want to call it. Really does help out the channel. And 2 things, Gary and a lot of you wanted me to watch Interstellar, best movie I've seen all year past Sinners. So I just want to give you an update on that. First thing. And the second thing, in the comments section, drop in the comments section below. If you could have one of these 3 things happen tomorrow, which one would you choose? Fire Aaron Boone, fire Brian Cashman, have Hal sell the team. Which of the 3 things would you choose? Drop in the comments section, not the chat, after this. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. So appreciate you guys and enjoy the rest of your night. Take care, folks. Thanks for hanging with me. Later.